Crisis Report. It is December 18th, 2024, and we're later than we usually go. And my apologies. We had a big to-do tonight. That's right, the wife and I had to go see the movie Homestead. So I'll be doing a review of that movie on PrepperNow. Hold on real quick. Oh, flub. Whoosh. Yeah, went and saw the movie Homestead, and I liked it. It was, I'll tell you what, if you're a prepper, it gives you some things to think about. It puts scenarios on screen that you need to think about. Now, I don't want to give you the whole thing. I'm going to do a full review on PrepperNow. I'll probably do a video in the morning for it, and we'll put it out there. But it was, worth my time. I'll just put it that way. So I'll save most of it, but yeah, it definitely gives you some things to think about what could happen in a long emergency and what happens when everything just kind of crumbles and there's a lot of people that need a lot of things and have no access to get it. We are a very convenient society. We have our heads buried in our phone, and when you sit there and they work out and they have to, have problems that they have to go through and situations come up, it's interesting to see because there's a couple of them that you're like, I didn't really think about that. So definitely gave me a perspective, but we'll save the rest of that for tomorrow on PrepperNow, and we will see what y'all think. Hopefully you'll go check it out. It's Angel Studios. I like to support them. Definitely a faith-based backing to the movie, which I really like, and it's got a positive tone, but it sets it up for more. So, good stuff. As what's going on right now in the world, well, you've got Yemen just got the crap kicked out of it by Israel. Everything is on fire in downtown Sana'a and ODYSEE, but we're going to get more into that. Governor Newsom of California has put out a warning or a emergency notice for the bird flu and all kinds of other wonderful things going on. This isn't a super long report, but there's actually some major stuff in it that you should, consider. So it is late. I'm not going to get long-winded right here, and I'm going to get started right now. But if you could hit that like button and do all those things, it helps with the engagement. It is very critical, and it really helps. I ebb and flow here, and noticed over on PrepperNow, I put out a video that, a few days ago I was getting kicked into the algorithm, and today not so much, so who knows what it is with all that, but the engagement helps. So love to have you hit that like button and all the yada yadas. Cool? All right, cool. Let's get started on your crisis report for December 18th, 2024. And if you get a moment, go see Homestead by Angel. It's worth it if you're a prepper, especially. All right. Senator Chris Van Hollen has warned Turkey on X, saying attacks from Turkish-backed forces on our Syrian Kurdish partners undermine regional security and efforts to prevent an ISIS resurgence. Turkey must accept a ceasefire and demilitarized zone, or we'll move forward with bipartisan sanctions and legislation. So, of course, favorite thing America does, excuse me, is sanctions. So, obviously, the warning shot has been hit by Mr. Christopher Van Hollen, and we'll see where it goes. I did put out a video on the super secret channel, Global Intel channel. So, if you want to go check that out, it's kind of what's going on in Syria and what will come. If you want to put the link in the chat real quick, mods, that would be great. And then, of course, remove it. I don't expect full, how do I put it, secrecy with that channel, but I do like growing it the way I am. Almost to 600 subscribers over there. Just a contingency plan, just like any prepper would have You want to have a contingency plan. But yeah, talk over there on the Turkish thing, or not the Turkish thing, the Syrian thing, and some of the possibilities. And basically, I think it's going through a honeymoon period right now, and it's going to devolve. But I talk a little bit more in depth over there, kind of mention some of the names and some of the things to consider. So, yes, Global Intel Channel, go check that out. California schools would be off limits to ICE agents under a new proposal. The California Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tony Thurmond, is proposing a statewide policy that school districts not cooperate with ICE. We don't want kids going to school being fearful that they may come home and their parents aren't there anymore, Thurmond said. Thurmond is sponsoring a bill that would prevent ICE agents on school campuses or even within a mile of a school campus without a warrant from a judge. So we all know that the kids there are just super learning and they just want to be good kids and play on the football team. And we know that's totally the truth. Oh, wait, what's that? MS-13 gang clique that was based in the San Fernando Valley High School has murdered at least 10 people, including a 16-year-old student at the school. One victim had their heart cut out by a machete. 19 of the 22 entered in the country without the, they were in there illegally. So, have any of the drone sightings been accompanied with sightings of large rectangular black monolith? That was a question. Ryder said, I probably have to think back to the words of a very wise prophet, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who said, "These aren't the drones you're looking for." That was on C-SPAN today. It actually ends my PrepperNow video, kind of as a joke, and he obviously was joking. The drone thing is still ongoing. There's a balloon that floated over America that everybody on X was freaking out about. I put out a video. I'm sure you got the crap notified out of you by the tube. But, put that over there and talk about the balloon, a little bit on the drones, and then we go into the stock market because, honestly, the stock market is what's really going to affect you. But, yeah, Drone Gate, as they're now calling it, is still ongoing, and obviously a shining object to keep you deterred from all the stuff going on here, as we like to cover on the Crisis Report. Dutch authorities fined Netflix 4.75 million euros over personal data use. Kremlin has accused Ukraine of terror for killing a general, the one yesterday, the Kirillov. Oh my gosh, terrible things going on in Florida. Pornhub says it will exit Florida starting January 1st as the state's age verification law comes into effect. Now, porn is a terrible thing, but if it's used to bring in a online identity type situation to go onto the internet, then, I can kind of control myself from Pornhub, and everybody else should be able to, as I don't think we should have to put in credentials and things onto the internet. I think we should have a privacy kind of thing going on there, but that's another video for another day. No security safety risk from reported drone sightings, according to the United States agencies. President-elect Donald Trump says many Canadians want Canada to become the 51st state of the United States. I can see that. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was to meet NATO chief Mark Rutte and keep European leaders in Brussels Wednesday to discuss next steps on Russia's war as Donald Trump prepares to take the office as the United States president. Netherlands, together with Finland and Sweden, have intercepted on Tuesday a Russian aircraft equipped with supersonic missiles over the Baltic, says Dutch defense minister. I'll have more on that towards the end. Sky News says that the exchange deal between Hamas and Israel is in its final stages, and those with high sentences will be deported to Turkey and Iran. So I don't know about that. They've been saying this for over a year. We'll see if they get over the finish line. I know that Hezbollah and Hamas have literally, for lack of a better way of putting it, had their ass handed to them by the Israelis. So we'll see. Israeli Broadcasting Authority says that the Israeli army estimates that the number of disabled soldiers will reach 100,000 by the year 2030. And, of course, that does include mental disability. But as you can see, there has been a heavy toll on the Israelis as well. Russian war against Ukraine. Russian FSB successfully captured the terror and uncovered details of the attack. This is obviously the Kurylov thing. According to initial data, attack was coordinated from Ukraine. Over the past 24 hours on the Kursk front, Russian forces dislodged Ukrainian units from the two strategically important villages in the Pokrovsk direction. Russian armed forces successfully seized Ubonivka. And, so they captured the guy that did the Kirillov scooter hit. Mike Johnson's new spending bill allows jibby-to-jab and mask mandates and jibby-to-jab passports and expanded emergency powers and gain of the GOF to the jibby-to-jab research and all that. So, yeah, that's not going anywhere. Putin reportedly paid Kim Jong-un up to $6 billion for weapons and North Korean soldiers, according to the New York Times. Hankook Institute on Seoul estimates Pyongyang's arms shipments were worth 1.7 to 5.5 billion, partially paid in cash and the rest in oil and food. For deploying 5,000 to 20,000 troops, North Korea could have earned 143 to 572 million. With 11,000 soldiers reportedly in Russia's Kursk region, Pyongyang may have received about 315 million. So, pay to play. Final phase of the war in Ukraine is approaching, ? New York Times outlines 4 possible scenarios. Number 1, no NATO membership. Despite Zelensky's efforts, at least 7 NATO countries oppose or want to delay Ukraine's membership indefinitely. 2, coalition defense. A group of willing states pledges to protect Ukraine. 3, foreign troop deployment. International forces stationed in Ukraine to ensure security, especially for Europe. 4, armed neutrality. The most unacceptable option for Ukraine. Abandon NATO membership and foreign military presence while Russia commits not to attack. 4 is the most likely to get approval from the Russians, and it probably won't be the one. Nope, these idiots will probably go for number 2 and spur a regional war. Russian Chief of General Staff Valery Gerasimov claims that Ukrainian army has lost about 1 million people and about 20,000 tanks and armored vehicles since the beginning of the invasion. Massive energy crisis in Iran. Tehran has turned off the highway lights to conserve energy. Deputy Commander of the IRGC, Operation True Promise 3, will definitely be carried out at the appropriate time and place. I missed those. It's been a couple months. Good to see that the IRGC is telling us about the appropriate time and place. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov. Dangers created by Western countries on our borders may lead to discussions of Moscow's use of nuclear weapons. Republican Senator Graham and Democrat Senator Van Hollen spoke with YPG PKK group's leaders, Muslim Abdi, threatening Turkey with a sanctions bill. Temporary ceasefire between the Turkey-backed Syrian National Army and the SDF has ended. Turkey refuses to extend it, including proposals for a demilitarized zone along the border near Kobani. While Turkey has some legitimate security concerns, these developments undermine regional security, and the U.S. cannot remain indifferent. Turkey does not meet our conditions immediately. We plan to introduce a bipartisan sanctions bill this week, similar to the one proposed in 2019. So, we shall see. Federal Reserve has cut interest rates by 0.25% to 4.5%. I thought it was actually 4.5 to 4.25. I might be wrong, but they cut it by 0.25% because nothing signals a wonderful economy like cutting rates when inflation has never been more terrible. Stealth Mode, thanks for being a member, guys. All of you. Thanks for all of you. Bad Bobber, all of you. Thank you so much for being a member. It does help. It keeps the lights on. Like, I'm at a movie tonight. I'm tired. I could go to bed. But I'm like, you know what? I got people like Stealth Mode and Bad Bobber and more that are throwing down a couple bucks a month to help me out and to keep the lights on. So, it keeps me coming back and doing my thing. So I really appreciate it. Thank you. Multiple ballistic missiles in the sky of Tel Aviv, likely launched from Yemen, and it looks like some of them may have passed the air defenses. Trump can negotiate to stop Iran from getting nuclear bomb, according to Blinken. Basically, it seems like when you read that first, you're like, oh, he thinks Trump's going to do it. But then you're like, no, he's just basically saying, I'm putting a pause on here, and y'all can fix this. I'm going away. Literally. I got a feeling on Blinken's last day, he's going to be like, thank God. And literally I'm out, bitches. I mean, that man, he's done, he was the Secretary of State. We'll just leave it at that. Trump opposes deal to avert government shutdown, according to statement. Justin Trudeau's political crisis is deepening, with more members of the Liberal Party publicly calling for the Canadian Prime Minister to step aside. I'd like him to step onto a rocket ship and go to another planet. Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has declared a state of emergency in response to the bird flu outbreak. Wisconsin reports its first human case of H5N1 bird flu linked to poultry. Multiple cats have reportedly died in Los Angeles from bird flu after consuming raw meat. And Louisiana's human bird flu case is in critical condition with severe respiratory illness. And that is your waiting for Trump to get your bird flu update. 18 states are backing Louisiana's statewide law mandating public schools to prominently display the Ten Commandments in every classroom in a large, easily readable font. George Stephanopoulos is expected to be fired by ABC after the network was forced to pay Trump millions for defaming him. Israeli invasion of Syria. In addition to the towns and localities already occupied by the IDF in recent days, Israel is now confirmed to have captured Saida al-Jalan, al-Arida, Ma'zara, Ma'ariva, al-Kuwaya, Beit Arach, and Batina. But even more importantly, Israel took control of the Al-Huwada Dam on the Yarmouk River Reservoir. I actually mentioned this in the other channel today, near the town of Al-Qusayr in Syria's Dakhra governorate. There's 3 governorates in Syria, on the border with the Kingdom of Jordan, which provides for approximately 30% of Syria's freshwater supply and 40% of the freshwater supply to Jordan. So, kind of an important river if you think about it, and it's controlled by the Israelis. Russian Federal Security Service says the perpetrator of the terrorist attack against the commander of the Radiation, Chemical, and Biological Defense Troops of the Russian Armed Forces, Igor Kirillov, was recruited by Ukrainian intelligence. Syrian forces report that Israeli warplanes attacked the radar battalion near the Deir Azor airport in eastern Syria last night, according to these sources. Additional targets near the airport were attacked. Iranian rial is at a new low at a value of 777,000 rials to $1. Since Trump won the election, the Iranian currency has lost about 10% of its value when it stood at 703,000 rials to $1. I'm smelling a little revolution in the air in Iran, if I may. Nothing will piss people off than being hungry and their money worth nothing. Bloomberg report, Iran is holding talks with the Sudanese army regarding the possibility of establishing a military port in Port Sudan on the Red Sea coast in exchange for the extensive military support that Tehran is providing to the Sudanese army in the country's civil war. Russia is also working to renew contacts with the Sudanese army for a military port in the Red Sea amid concerns about the loss of its large bases in Syria and the desire to maintain the air and sea bridge to its branches in Africa. Can you think of a chapter in the Bible where Iran, Russia, and Sudan are mentioned? Ezekiel? Territory of southern Syria is divided into 3 governorates: Quneitra to the west, Dakhra in the center, Suweda to the east. Main regions are Sunni, Muslim, and Druze. The majority of the population is Sunni. Main city in Quneitra governorate is Khan Aramnaba. In the Dahra governorate, the capital is Dahra. Capital of the Suweda governorate is the city of Suweda. Most of the border with Israel is in the territory of the Quneitra government, with the exception of the tri-state border area, Israel, Syria, Jordan, located in the territory of the Dahra government. And there is your geography lesson for the night. Official IDF announcement to Gazans in the Al-Burej area. Stay away. We are preparing for a wave of attacks. On Wednesday, gunmen attacked a Greek Orthodox diocese in the Syrian city of Hama. According to the Sky News Arabia reporter, a source in the Greek Orthodox Syrian Archdiocese of Hama told local media that an armed group launched a shooting attack on the Greek Orthodox diocese of Hama in the city. Is it just me, or it should be like diocese? Anyway, maybe that's a misspelling. Maybe there's a word I've never seen before. Militants destroyed the symbols of the Christian religion, violated the sanctity of the dead, and vandalized cemeteries of Christian families. He added, I have to do this. Yep, that's not a real world. Mess up. I love that feature. Report in the Wall Street Journal. Russia has transferred a large arsenal of air defense systems and advanced weapons from Syria to Libya. In addition to the Russian military has transferred soldiers and fighter jets from Syria to Libya. At this time, it is unclear whether the Russian military will leave the forces in Libya or return them to Russia. Syria, a huge fire in Aleppo International Stadium, and the reasons are still unknown. Haven't heard anything since, so unsure what's going on there. U.S. State Department, we do not expect the Israelis to withdraw from the Gaza Strip after the war. Nope, they won't. Sources familiar with the details told the Saudi-owned newspaper Asharq al-Sar that since the end of the war in Lebanon, there are still between 1,000 and 1,500 fighters in Hezbollah's ranks who are still missing and whose fate is unknown. Fed has cut its rate benchmark policy by 25 basis points to a range between 4.25 and 4.5. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I saw. World Bank approves new $2.05 billion loan to Kiev. And just add that to the list, everyone will definitely be paid back, right? Right? Hello? China boosts nuclear stockpile. According to the Pentagon, Beijing has added at least 100 nuclear warheads to the stockpile over the past year and now has more than 600 in its inventory. Latest Pentagon report said China will likely have 1,000 nuclear weapons by 2030. According to the Pentagon, they also are showing some interest in developing a new conventional ICBM that could strike Hawaii, Alaska, and the continental United States, the report added. Good news. Perrier, the only French mineral water bottling plant of the Nestle Group, has been recommended for closure after fecal bacteria was found in the water and the quality of the water used has been steadily deteriorating. So, I don't know if you grab a Perrier from the old gas station hub or wherever, but you might want to not do that. Poland signed a $310 million contract with American General Atomics for 3 MQ-9B Sky Guardian UAVs, with each UAV costing approximately $103 million. You know, when I'm looking for a nice cold drink, and I need seltzer, I don't go to the France Feces water. Nope. I go to Waterloo. That's right, Texas's own Waterloo. It is a fantastic drink. Try to get the thing in there. This is what we drink here. Okay, yep, there you go. See? Waterloo. Yeah. Try it out. It's cheap. They have it at Sam's Club, and it's good. And they don't put the little plastic things to get out in the water and strangle ducks to death. Kind of like that, too. I call myself a conservative hippie. So, yes, Israel continues taking out citizens in Gaza with impunity, according to Haaretz, quoting an Israeli officer. There's a race and challenge between military units in Gaza to kill the largest number of Palestinians. We have orders to send photos of the bodies, and we have sent photos of 200 dead, and turned out that about 10 of them were from Hamas. There is unlimited authority granted to leaders in Gaza. So, hopefully that's not true. We don't just want indiscrimination in our dispatching capabilities. Let's see. Poland signed a $310 million contract with American General Atomics MQ-9B Sky Guardian UAV, with each UAV costing about $103 million. Trump's envoy to Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, on Russian General Kirillov's assassination in Moscow by Ukraine. Quote, "There are rules of war. This wasn't smart. Not a good idea at all." Trump's there's a doubler. Oh, wait. Here we go. Sorry. Trump's envoy to Ukraine and Russia, Keith Kellogg, also said that the Russian losses are 5 times higher than Ukraine's. They're using human waves attacks like North Koreans with huge casualties. This is historically how they fight. Now, I don't know about the waves of people. I've seen video that would back that up, but I don't know about this number that he's putting out. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think the Russians have lost 5 times the Ukrainians. Federal Reserve Chair Powell, we're not allowed to own Bitcoin and not looking for a law change. Okay. Bitcoin is still above 100,000 if I remember correctly. Dow Jones Industrial Average posts its first 10-day losing streak since the year 1974. We did a video on that over on PrepperNow. You probably got the crap notified out of you by a tube, because we know they love to do that. Yep, that's not, all UFO-y, so go on over and check that video out. Governor Newsom takes proactive action to strengthen robust state response to bird flu. What you need to know: following the spread of the bird flu in 16 states, including California, outside the Central Valley, Governor Newsom proclaimed a state of emergency today to further enhance the state's preparedness and accelerate the ongoing cross-agency response efforts. Governor Gavin Newsom today proclaimed a state of emergency to streamline and expedite the state's response to avian influenza and H5N1, commonly known as bird flu. Action comes as cases were detected in dairy cows on farms in Southern California, signaling the need to further expand monitoring and build on the coordinated statewide approach to contain and mitigate the spread of the virus. The virus is spread in 16 states among dairy cattle, following the first confirmed detection in Texas and Kansas in March of 2024. To date, no person-to-person spread of bird flu has been detected in California, and nearly all infected individuals had exposure to infected cattle. California has already established the largest testing and monitoring system in the nation to respond to the outbreak. Kind of makes me of that big omnibus bill they're trying to pass. Oh, it all makes sense. Wisconsin reports its first human case of H5N1 bird flu linked to poultry. Human cases of H5N1 bird flu found detailed information about each human case. H5N1 bird flu since 2020, when a new variant, clade 2.3.4.4b, emerged in birds and spread around the world, eventually reaching every continent except Oceania, that's Australia. This page is updated regularly and as soon as possible when a human case is reported. The current variant of concern has affected a growing number of mammals since it was first discovered. The first human case with clade 2.3.4.4b was reported in the UK in January 2022. Older variants are also capable of causing human cases, including clade 2.3.2.1c, which is endemic in Cambodia. Good to know. Last year, 22 million poultry birds were killed to stop the spread of bird flu. 15.8 million have been killed in just the last 30 days. An incredible and, when you know how they're killed, heart-wrenching statistic. Netherlands, in coordination with Finland and Sweden, has intercepted Russian aircraft carrying supersonic missiles over the Baltic Sea. Dutch Defense Minister Ruben Brekelmans said on X and on Wednesday, no further details were provided on the engagement or the aircraft's intentions. Since December, Dutch F-35s have been patrolling NATO's eastern border. Sky News Arabia reports a massive wave of airstrikes on Sana'a, capital of Yemen. Mass damage and fires reported in various areas of Sana'a tonight following the strikes against Houthi targets by Israeli Air Force warplanes. Further Israeli airstrikes have reportedly hit the Hodeidah port and the Ras Isa oil facility on the Yemeni coast, as well as the Dakhban power station. Following Israeli airstrikes, the central power station of Yemen's capital, Sana'a, is fully engulfed in flames. Houthi-controlled city is currently facing a total blackout. Israel Defense Force on Twitter says, following the approval of attack planes by Defense Minister Israel Katz, Air Force fighter jets under the direction of the intelligence and Navy branches recently attacked military targets of the Houthi terrorist regime in the western coastal strip and deep inside Yemen. Israel Defense Force spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said over the past 14 months, Iranian-backed Houthis have launched hundreds of missiles and UAV attacks against Israel. Happened again tonight. Houthi terror regime fired a missile towards central Israel, forcing millions of civilians to take cover in bomb shelters. In the last 2 weeks only, the Houthis fired a drone that hit an apartment block in southern Israel, and on Sunday they fired a long-range missile towards central Israel. Houthis have been carrying out attacks against Israel in violation of international law, and the Houthi regime is a threat to peace and security in the region. Today, the IDF conducted precise strikes on Houthi military targets in Yemen, including ports and energy infrastructure in Sana'a, which the Houthis have been using in ways that effectively contributed to their military actions. It goes on from there, but the Israelis have absolutely dropped the hammer on the Yemenis. So, Defense Minister Israel Katz, after the IDF attack on Yemen, says whoever raises a hand against the state of Israel, his hand will be cut off. Whoever harms us will be harmed sevenfold. I get it, bud. Got the same rule here in this house. Office of Management and Budget, OMB, has instructed federal agencies to begin notifying their employees about procedures for a government shutdown, and California's regulations are causing truck shortages, causing rising costs, as according to people in the industry have said. So that'll make your costs go up. Anyway, hit that like button, do the subscribe thing, darken out the bell, get your notifications on. Join me here on the Crisis Report, even on movie night and date night with the wife. We're coming in, we're doing the report, okay? 6 days a week at least. At least. Most comprehensive news on YouTube. Also, hit the possibility of maybe becoming a member, right? Right, Stealth Mode? Stealth Mode did that tonight. He's pretty cool. So, yeah, a couple bucks goes into the pocket and makes it so the hours I spend here daily, and it is daily, go to the right place and make it so we keep coming back for more. So, that's your job. You got to keep coming back for more. Hopefully you're subscribed. And we love you here on the Crisis Report. Hit the like button, yada, yada. Stack, stock, stick to the plan. Keep your hands full when your powder dry. And I appreciate you coming by the Crisis Report by PrepperNow, the most comprehensive news on YouTube. And Kevin Grip, thanks so much for gifting those 5 memberships, my brother. Yeah, hopefully you're having a good weekend or week, whatever the heck it is, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next one. God bless, friends. PrepperNow out.